This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbroadcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates.
Red hot comic book movie news, shooting up your butthole. The Weekly Planet, the Weekly Planet.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Weekly Planet, where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. My name is James, also known as Mr. Sunday, but with me, as always, is my co-host Nick Mason.
Hello.
Wow, big week this week, Nick Mason. You know that, don't you? Better than anyone.
Yes.
There's huge Disney Plus
I know
news.
it's a big week because you're using my full name and you're going to continue to do it.
That's
the
right.
entire podcast.
I can't stop. I won't stop. You cannot stop me. Just try and stop me.
I think you'll lose interest very quickly.
I agree. But this week, if you do want to jump around because of time codes, of course.
That is your right and your obligation.
Agreed.
It's your right and responsibility.
Collins, who edits this, he puts them below for everyone's convenience. So say if you wanted to jump ahead.
Except his own.
That's
the true hero.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. There's some big movie delays.
Because he doesn't need them because it's all in his head.
It's all
He
in
knows
his brain.
exactly where everything is.
It's all in his brain.
Yeah.
There's a big bidding war for a Lethal Weapon style buddy cop comedy movie you might have seen.
I haven't.
Vin Diesel reaches out to his brother, The Rock.
Little
Brothers-
bro, he calls him, right?
That's
Little
right.
bro, yeah.
Squid Game Season 2, a bunch of news for Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange 2 gets some reshoots in trouble, And then, of course, we're doing Disney Plus Day, where there's just a bunch of news, including new X-Men and Obi Wan and Secret Invasion.
Just
and
little snippets
Ms.
of
Marvel,
things.
That's right. But look,
We were like, can we do a whole episode on this?
No.
Maybe there'll be a big She-Hulk trailer. There wasn't. There was 2 seconds. Maybe there'll be a big Moon Knight trailer. There wasn't. There was just Oscar Isaac doing a little voice.
that's right. So at our special request, this is for Broden Kelly of Auntie Donna fame. He wanted us to talk about No Time to Die because he's the only person in Australia, other than us, who have seen it.
Apparently so.
So we are going to do, finally, No Time to Die. And
How long's it been out everywhere else?
I think it came out 1 million years ago. It was the first movie ever made.
Wow.
They used charcoal and they drew it on the side of a dinosaur, mate.
That's not a movie.
What? No,
not
it was
a-
moving because the dinosaur.
Because the dinosaur is
It's
moving.
moving.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I've got a lot
So
to say.
some sort of sophisticated prehistoric animation system.
Sure, let's say that.
Wow.
Let's say that I did think it through, and that's what I meant.
And they were, but it was about a present day like espionage situation in prehistoric times.
They didn't predict things. It kind of just sets some trends that people, like society, had to catch up to.
Right, okay.
Yeah, you
okay.
get it, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I do.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. I'm not going to say I don't get it because then I look stupid.
Yeah,
on
you
the
don't want that.
podcast. I do get it, and I think you're right.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Speaking of me being right, or at the very least just running my mouth, my wife has a podcast. Well, we do one together called Suggestible, separate to this.
And we do one together called The Weekly Planet.
Correct. But she does one called Tonts, where she talks just about a bunch of stuff, bunch of crap, quite frankly.
Wow.
No, it's a great show. She did the last one for the season. And where we talk about, basically the idea is the guest comes in with like a formative piece of like pop culture that they saw as a kid.
And they were murdered then because
And
of the
then-
big season finale. And who done it? Was it you or Claire?
You have to listen to find out. But she interviews me and I talk about the movie Office Space.
How'd you get that? How'd you get an interview with James Clemens?
As we mentioned in the show, I was my break glass in case of emergency guest.
I understand. Sure.
And we talk about like how leaving my regular job for this and kids and balance and all these with like stuff and, things like that. So if people are interested, I always like talking to my wife, which I think is important.
Get a load of this guy. Loves talking to his wife. I'm sorry, you said like talking to my wife.
Yeah. That's a fairly important distinction, but that's linked below. Also vote for Suggestible.
Get a load of this guy. Likes talking to his wife.
Also, we're trying to reel the podcast awards again, the Australian Podcast
Of
Awards.
course,
if
yes,
people
that's
want to
right.
vote for Suggestible.
And for people who have forgotten or don't know or didn't listen to the last episode, we were both on our pals Andy and Al's podcast,
yes.
Two
That
in
was
the Think Tank.
I made it. I wasn't
You
going to
made
make
it in time. That's true.
Yeah.
What
are we like 7-hour mark, 8-hour mark?
Yeah, and we thought it was going to be up in the little podcast room in Stupid Old Studios, but it was in the big downstairs room with the
I
big
was not
screens
ready
and
for that.
and the high definition cameras. And
I
all
have
sorts of-
terrible hair at the moment. I was not ready for that.
But for people who don't know, their podcast Two in the Think Tank, they come up with 5 sketch ideas every week. But for the 300th episode, they were going to do 300 sketch ideas. They'd done this in the past. It had taken hours and hours. It's all the video is all up on the Stupid Old channel on YouTube. It's 18 hours. You could just go to YouTube and like just browse like audio. You can just browse videos of a certain length, starting longest to shortest, and then be towards the top.
That's
so it's like 18 and a half hours long or something like that. 8 hour mark. We're at the 8 hour mark.
I sketch 153, I want to say.
Something like that.
Yeah, but there's some great guests.
Absolutely.
Terrific.
Our pals over at Do Go On and a bunch of local guys that I think are very funny. So check it out.
Here's something that I don't think is very funny.
We did all right also.
We got like 12. Well, we didn't get 12. We were there for 12 or something. 10 to 12. You're not going to be happy about this, Mason. Delays. But not
wrong.
Yeah, wrong theme tune. But not dismays. This is when things are delayed, but we go, don't even worry about it. Because there's always movies.
I think maybe if this were a video format, it'd be a calendar of all the pages would be flipping away.
Yeah, like our No Time to Die calendar.
Yes, and then it's obsolete now. It's a collector's item.
I know, right? What do you reckon we could get for it?
50 cents.
Wow, that's way less than what you paid for it, I assume.
I paid 45 cents for it.
Did you really?
Yeah, it's appreciated in value. So, I mean, we hold on to it long enough. Every remaining copy will be destroyed, except for that one. We'd have to put it in like some sort of vacuum sealed chamber so the paper doesn't degrade.
Yeah.
But I reckon by 2050, we could probably get $1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which I guess with inflation is less than what it was originally
Way
worth.
less. Yeah, way less.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Anyways, Transformers.
Also, probably be water wars and stuff happening.
Yeah, that probably might be. And I'll step on it.
Yeah, just on purpose.
Running from giant human-sized cockroaches.
All those AI robots.
Yeah, the AI robots.
Boston Dynamics robots.
Exactly.
Have shotguns on them now.
So
Transformers.
Yeah, Well, speaking of, Transformers Rise of the Beasts has been pushed 1 full year to June of 2023. I actually just watched Bumblebee with my son this week.
Yes.
It's fun, man. It's a good movie.
It's good. Yeah, fun.
I got mad at the start when they're on Cybertron and you can see who everybody is and all the designs are like from the 80s and whatever. And they're all, you know who's who and you can see the action clearly. And I'm like, God damn it, I watched so many Michael Bay Transformers movies to get to this. And speaking of delays, Rogue Squadron has been delayed from 2023. Now, it's said that Patty Jenkins has had a scheduling conflict because she's working on Wonder Woman 3. She's working on a Cleopatra movie. You might be familiar with Gal Gadot. But I do wonder whether this is a you've been fired from Star Wars situation.
Oh, you think so? You think that'll
I
come
don't
out
know,
later?
but like it seems like they do this a lot, and I'm not sure. What do you think?
Yeah, it might come out. I mean, Star Wars seems to have this
stink about it.
Well, the system seems to be they pick you, they tap you for a project, and if anything untoward happens, from between then and when your movie is supposed to start off, they'll dump you.
Yep.
They did that with Trevorrow because he made that weird kid murderer movie.
Yeah, they did it with the GOT boys. GOT bros. There's supposed to be a Rian Johnson trilogy happening.
Yes.
There's rumors that Chloe Zhao might be doing the Kevin Feige produced one, but also maybe that was debunked this week as well.
But also,
the back of Eternals, maybe they won't let her. Like, I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't
just
know.
Don't know. Maybe a movie that rates 48% on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever will knock you out of the running for Star Wars. I don't know. Don't know.
Speaking of Star and Wars,
I was going to say also in Rise of the Beast, Wheeljack is a VW bus.
Oh, do you like that? Do you?
I do. I think it's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. So that one is a sequel to Bumblebee.
Yes,
and Bumblebee is not in the regular Transformers continuity, apparently.
Okay.
Which is good.
It is good.
Because then you got to work out how Unicron's in the planet again or something.
True.
Got to build back to that.
Yeah.
Also, Star Trek 4, whatever that ends up looking like, is actually moved 6 months from June to December of 2023. I
see.
There we go. Do you know there was an MGM bidding war this week, Mason?
I thought somebody already owned it. Didn't somebody
Sorry, within MGM.
Okay.
And other major motion picture companies.
Oh.
And their logos.
Oh, you're saying so somebody wants to purchase a famous property and MGM wants it?
Well,
they already have it.
So Dave Bautista made a post a while back who was like, I want to do a buddy cop style Lethal Weapon movie with Jason Momoa.
Okay.
And then there was this furious bidding war and MGM won. So look forward to just that being a version of Red Notice or whatever.
Sure.
Whatever happens.
I was going to save this to what we read and what we're going to read. Our most famous segment.
Yeah.
I watched Red Notice this week.
And?
It's fine. It's pretty good.
Okay, cool. Because I haven't heard like massively glowing things, but I did see someone in the Great Mates group worked on it.
Oh, there you go.
And that's awesome.
Well, I think I went into it, doing other things. So it's just on in my house. But also, I went in with the idea of like, okay, it's just two guys who I like
And
primarily.
they're both selling different types of alcohol throughout the movie?
Yes, they are. Yeah,
Is that right?
So yeah, there is definitely what I think is some aviation gin in it, but you
Yeah.
don't see the label. I
Okay.
don't think.
Very
but I
clever.
mean, probably aficionados would recognize the bottle. I would
that's
imagine.
me.
But it's sort of like, okay, these guys are sort of two. They're charismatic and you like them together, and they're doing a thing.
Yeah.
together. And I think if you the plot and etc. is pretty rote, but I think and the action is also fine. But I think as far as it's like an Abbott and Costello or what have you. Like it.
Yes,
I
yes.
wouldn't be surprised if they either do a sequel to this or they just keep showing up in different movies together.
Oh,
Have we
okay.
ever talked about Spencer and Hill?
Which one's that? It's Jake Gerard Din who worked on
Oh, there
this
you go.
as well. He was in the art. It was an art department
Right.
assistant. How cool is that?
Spencer and Hill, Bud Spencer and Terence Hill, not their real names,
Yeah.
were two Italian actors.
Mamma mia!
Precisely.
Yeah.
Who they met, I think, doing spaghetti westerns, and then from like the 70s through the 80s and I think a little bit of the 90s, they did like action adventure comedy buddy movies together in English speaking countries with primarily English speaking supporting cast that were only ever shown in Italy.
What are we talking about here?
These two guys.
Yeah, I mean, like, what movies would I have known?
You won't know any of them, but they're all on Amazon Prime. I've watched a few of them.
Really?
They're actually pretty good. Look up Terence Hill, Spencer and Hill. I guess if you look them up,
All right.
one looks like a young Rob Lowe, and one looks like
There's a music group called Terence Hill and Bud Spencer.
Yeah,
did you
yeah,
say? Yeah, go
and
on.
one looks like Jonathan Rhys Davies.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
And
Yeah,
they're just like they just did these series of movies where they're the two main characters, and they never really do. Like they're always just
Yeah.
new characters, just on new adventures.
So it's like kind of like Butch Cassidy and the Sting.
Yes,
It's like
exactly.
Redford
yeah.
and Paul Newman.
Yeah,
but
just
like,
over and over again.
That's
It wouldn't
interesting.
surprise me if
they did a version of that.
they did a version of that, maybe with Gal Gadot again as the third.
Sure.
As the third, but I reckon they'd probably just do.
I've never heard of this. That's interesting.
They're like phenomenons in Italy.
Yeah, I'm a big
The
fan.
homeland of
I'm
Italy.
a huge fan. Speaking of phenomenons,
Yes.
speaking of two buddies, you might have seen this. I know you have this post from Vin Diesel, which I'm going to read here verbatim.
Okay.
Which is a call out to. Well, look, I'll just read it. I don't.
You're
need
going to do
explain.
some crunches. No, do some. He would do push-ups first.
He
I
would do
think.
diamond push-ups.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
where you
okay.
put your hands together like this.
Okay.
It works on the inner chest and triceps.
Okay. Can you only use these?
No,
index
you
fingers and
go
thumbs?
flat hand, but because you've got your hands together, you don't get the full range of motions of your entire arm.
Oh, I see.
Limits of motion.
Okay.
You're targeting specific muscle
Okay.
groups.
How many of those would he do before he released this?
How many
statement?
can I do? Oh, mate, how many you got? How many do you want me to do?
1,000.
That's too many. I can't do that many, mate.
500?
That's also too many.
250.
I'll do 5.
That's pretty good. That's good.
Here we go. My little brother Dwayne.
Yuck. Bad start.
I know,
Power
right?
move.
I wouldn't even say that to my actual brother.
Right.
Because it comes a point where you're just both grown people.
Yeah. If you were like, hey, little brother, he'd be like, I think he'd just look around and be like, what is this?
Yeah. And then he bopped me on the top of the head.
Because he's bigger than you.
The time has come. The world awaits the finale of Fast 10. As you know, my children refer to you as Uncle Dwayne in my house.
What?
There is not a holiday.
Uncle Dwayne, that guy I hate.
There is not a holiday that goes by that they and you don't send well wishes. But the time has come. Legacy awaits. I told you years ago that I was going to fulfill my promise to Pablo. Paul Walker?
Paul Walker, I'd yeah.
I swore that we would reach and manifest the best Fast and the Furious finale. That is 10. I say this out of love, but you must show up. Do not leave the franchise idle. You have a very important role to play. Hobbs can't be played by no other. I hope that you rise to the occasion and fulfill your destiny. And then there's a photo of them together, except he's clearly photoshopped himself quite poorly as bigger and whiter than The Rock.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Now, to refresh my memory and other people's memory,
Yes.
famously, they didn't get along during the filming of the Fast and Furious movies they were in.
Yeah.
And Vin Diesel was like, The Rock is very unprofessional. Is that right?
But yeah, or something like that. And Vin Diesel was saying like the way that he approached it, like he's talked about this, how like he used
It's like a Fellini
like,
film.
yeah, like he was using a lot of anger and trying to like rile
Yeah,
him
right.
up. And he's like, it's acting. Can we not
Yeah, yeah.
fucking, because they were supposed to be enemies and whatever.
Yeah,
and
right,
then they
right.
become brothers and etc. And recently he said, like Vin Diesel talked about that and how he was trying to get the best performance out of The Rock and whatever, which is ridiculous because I mean, The Rock's, he's not a terrible actor, is he? Like, he knows what he's doing. He's very charming and he can jump and stuff and punch.
That's all you need.
But
good actor, jump and punch.
If I was The Rock,
maybe they should have cast him as Mario.
Maybe they should have.
Jump and punch. Yoshi in the back of the head.
Yeah. If I was The Rock, though, and this was me, I wouldn't do this out of absolute spite.
I'd be like, I'm going to do Red Notice 2 to 4 in a day. I'm just going to film all my scenes in a day. I can't be there.
That's right.
Little brother.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, he hasn't responded.
Because he doesn't want to be full, like, fall on my sword kind of thing. So he wants to have a little bit of condescension in there, I think.
I think if he honestly came to him and said, listen, I've clearly overstepped, there's been a miscommunication, I'd love you to be part of this. That's how you approach somebody.
I promise I won't, pretend to be mad at you or whatever, or push you around.
You can hit me.
Yeah.
You can hit me.
You can hit me one more time than I hit you.
You can hit my kids.
No.
They call you Uncle Punchy.
No.
They call you. Anyway, we'll see how this plays out. Squid Game Season 2.
He's got enough money, Vin. He doesn't need any more money from him.
No, but he also knows that he needs him, really. Doesn't he? Don't you think? To make it the biggest version of this movie?
Yeah, you need everybody back. Yeah, except anybody who's been cancelled.
Yeah.
Or killed. But even then, bring him back.
Yeah,
bring back that guy from the first one.
Oh, the guy, the little rat man. Or
He's
whatever.
I've been shot. Bionic organs. Give him bionic organs.
That's right. Anyway,
he's a car now.
He's a car now.
He's Turbo Teen now.
Even
Bring him back as Turbo Teen.
40 or whatever, probably. Squid Game Season 2. Creator and director Hwang Dong-hyuk says, so there's been so much pressure, so much demand. By the way, Squid Game, biggest Netflix show of all time. So this is bound to happen. And so much demand and so much love for a second season. So I almost felt like you leave us no choice. But I will say there will be indeed a second season. It's in my head right now. I'm in the planning process currently. Inevitable. It was going to happen.
Yes.
I'm skeptical.
Of what part?
Squid Game Season 2.
In what sense? What do you mean?
Like, that it will be good.
Oh!
I just think, like...
Okay, there might be some spoilers for Squid Game here as we talk about Squid Game.
Everyone's seen it, though. It's the biggest show in the
that's
world,
true,
for sure.
yeah. Why are you skeptical? In the sense of, like, in a narrative sense? Do you think it might not be satisfying in some way?
You got to bring back the Squid Game. It's like with Hunger Games, right? You got to get back into the Hunger Games. When you go out of the Hunger Games, it's not interesting. It's not the Hunger Games.
You're saying this might take place mostly outside of Squid Game.
Or you have to work in a narrative where you've now got a protagonist who's well aware of Squid Game. So does that mean you start up a Squid Game and also while the protagonist is doing things outside of Squid Game, you've got people within the Squid Game doing a Squid Game, I guess?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't think... I think people are going to be disappointed by this.
Yeah, right.
That's what I think. Because it was not really supposed to be this phenomenon. And I think now there's also so much pressure on it and so much fan art and ideas. And it might just fall under the weight of itself at this point. Because it's the biggest show in the world. I would love that to not be the case because it's a fun show.
Uh-huh.
And it's about...
Squids.
Yes. You got it. A lot of people don't get it. That's why I like
get
you.
it though, yeah. That's right.
Did you see there was a poster this week? A bit of Spider-Man No Way Home news.
Yes.
Unless you got some... What are your thoughts on Squid Game, I guess?
I'm
jumping ahead. I didn't...
Great question.
I'd stop to let my little brother...
Oh, no. No. I don't know. Also, what's interesting is that... I think they'll probably have to go bigger, only in the sense that... Because now...
More squids.
Or more squids, bigger squids, deeper squids. One, because it's going to have to be a bigger production because people are expecting more, but also because the character who won Squid Game is incredibly rich now. Yeah. So he could just hire some people to check out all sorts of weird islands and immediately find out where the next Squid Game is happening.
That's right.
So
where do you think it is?
Probably Thailand.
Probably the same spot, I reckon.
You reckon the exact same spot?
It's just that same island. It's probably where they do the Squid Game, I reckon.
Just back in there?
Yeah.
Huh.
They changed the rooms. It's fine.
Okay, sure.
You saw Squid Game, right?
I saw Squid Game, yes.
Very good.
Who do you think they're going to bring back? Did we have this conversation?
We've already talked about it,
Okay.
yes. But the one who, because we're in spoilers, the third person to die, the main guy, obviously, the cop, the dude who was running the Squid Game, not the main guy, but the tournament
guy,
dude, whatever.
Yeah.
Some of the people in animal masks, diamond animal masks and stuff, I
He'll
guess.
probably be back, yeah.
Anyways.
Or main guy gets shot in the head immediately at the start of the second season because they knew where he was.
That's true.
So probably...
He was on that plane, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe they do it at the train station doing the...
Oh, he'll be back, yeah.
The game?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man No Way Home got a post. Did you see it?
Yes.
Who did you see in the background?
Everyone.
The greenest of goblins?
Yes.
He was coming and going... Did you see the big leaks as well? John Campea posted some photos that were like... He's like, there's a fake, but like then Sony took them down.
Oh, I didn't see that.
For those people who... I guess slight spoilers... if you haven't been following all the lies on the internet about who's in this movie. But it's a photo of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland together in their Spider-Man costumes. And even if it's fake, which it could be, it's 100% happening. And speaking of, this Tuesday...
Again, we've said this before, but imagine if it wasn't.
I would love it. There's part of me that would just love that so much. Just the heartbreak. The utter heartbreak.
The whole multiverse collapses in the first, it all comes spiraling out of control in the first 10, 15 minutes. Then it immediately gets resolved and it's just a regular Spider-Man movie.
And he's back in Europe. Anyway, so there's going to be a LA special event this week where it looks like there's going to be some big announcement. There's going to be the trailer. There's talk that we don't know at this point as a recording whether they're going to release the trailer online. I think they probably will because it will leak regardless, maybe even before the event.
Sure.
And I think they're going to bring out the cast. I think. I don't know.
And they're going to bring out a cake.
Do you think they will?
Yep.
Who's in the cake?
It's a regular cake.
Steven Seagal's in there, Mason.
What?
It's a reverse Under Siege.
That's amazing.
Someone else was in the cake. Do you remember that movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones is in it. They do a knife fight at the end.
That's a good movie.
No?
I agree.
Wow.
I don't even know if I've seen it. I think I've seen the one on the trade, which is the
Under
second.
Siege 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Still sieging.
Still sieging. Anyway, we'll see this week. I'll do a trailer, something, and whatever.
Think they should do another Under Siege movie?
No.
Just Steven Seagal, just real slow, just
God, he's
struggling.
something else, that bloke, isn't he?
He really is.
Something bad. Just distress. He's friends with Putin. Like, what the fuck is that?
Very odd.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
But like, he's one of those guys who it's weird. He's like, no, he's nice. He's nice to you. He's a war criminal.
Because you're, yeah.
What are you talking about? I mean, all world leaders are war criminals. What am I even talking about, Mason?
Don't know, James.
He's a particularly bad one. Anyway, according to The Hollywood Reporter,
oh, yes.
Doctor Strange 2 is doing some significant reshoots.
Uh-oh.
What does significant look like, you ask me?
Yes.
Yes. Well, that's 6 weeks of reshoots, 6 days a week. Now, you might be like, isn't that the length of shooting a regular movie? Often that is the case.
Sounds like some sort of 90% reshoot situation.
Different people are saying different things, Mason, on this Sam Raimi helmed project.
Well, who's saying the worst thing? And let's take that
I'll do
verbatim.
too.
Okay.
One person says, Insider says, we've had bigger reshoots on other MCU movies. And this other person is saying, they're here until the end of the year. That's like a whole other movie.
And some people are saying, help. Help, we're trapped in this movie. They said that we're going to keep making it from scratch until we get it right.
We don't want to do it, but they're making us do it.
Okay, that sounds bad.
It's interesting because Sam Raimi's doing it.
Yes.
And Sam Raimi obviously had trouble last time he made a comic book movie, which was Spider-Man 3, because he didn't get the version that he wanted. Yeah. Also, they removed Scott Derrickson from because Doctor Strange 2 was supposed to be like a horror movie, but now it's like a multiverse whatever.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to lead into that. So... what does this mean? It could just be reshoots. It could just be adding more crazy dimensions, I guess. Yeah. But I don't know what this is, to be honest.
We'll have to check. What we'll have to do is when they've finished filming it, we'll just check the film canisters they leave out.
Yeah.
And it might say like adding more crazy dimensions.
Yeah.
The more crazy dimension stuff.
Yeah.
Or it might say whole new movie because the last one sucked and he's in a lot of trouble.
We realised we had Benedict Cumberbatch's wig on backwards the whole time.
That's right.
We have to do the whole thing again. You can't even see his face.
We put the goatee between his eyes.
Anyways, it was Disney Plus Day. And thank God.
Oh, my God. Waiting all year for whatever date that was.
So I thought they were going to do like a 30-minute presentation, but it was spread out like over the day. With
I don't even know where it was.
Because
all I've seen is I've seen snippets on YouTube.
Some's on Disney Plus as well.
Okay, yeah. Because I wasn't like my
most of it happened when we were asleep as well. I should point out.
Yeah, my first impression was like, if I switch on Disney Plus, it'll be like on a banner and you click it and there's a presentation or something.
Yeah.
But there wasn't.
It's Jeff Goldblum being like, what's this? And then he points to a screen and whatever plays.
You acted like he was brushing a spider off his shoulder.
Maybe he was.
Yeah.
One of the, we'll just touch on a bit of everything, and I'm definitely going to miss some stuff. But I'm glad they didn't kind of like they didn't DC it in terms of like a 40-hour presentation.
Yes, that's right.
Like they broke it up into small social media posts. I don't think there was anything here like too earth-shattering. But there's some decent stuff
but
here.
I think there's a middle ground there because this was, from what I can tell, they really whipped through this and. Of the stuff we were interested in, just the tiniest little snippets.
Just snippety-dippities. Here's one. Dan Trachtenberg.
Snippety-dippity.
Dan Trachtenberg released an image of his Predator prequel called Prey.
Oh, yes.
Which is an all-new entry in the Predator franchise. I'm reading this off Twitter. Prey is set in the world of the Comanche Nation. Comanche Nation?
Yes.
300 years ago. So it's from the original film from director Dan Trachtenberg, who did The Boys, 10 Cloverfield Lane. It's only on Hulu in 2022, going to streaming, which is interesting.
Yes.
Which I guess probably means Star in Australia, I guess.
Yeah, it could be Star.
I'm hoping it also goes to cinemas as well, because a good Predator movie is good. There's two good Predator movies. There's Predator, and then there's Predators.
That's correct.
And then there's The Predator, which is another movie that they made.
There's Predator 2.
Yeah, which is okay, I guess. It's kind of a bit of fun.
Packed in it.
And then there's Alien
Gets
versus
his
Predator.
head comes
That's
off.
true. Alien versus
Head cut
Predator.
off.
And
Yes.
then Alien versus Predator Requiem. Of course, there's a video games, including an arcade.
That's right.
Speaking of which, we're doing a video game this week, aren't we, for Caravan of Garbage?
That's right.
Thank God we're through Ghostbusters, because I'm fucking sick of 40-year-old men screaming at me about Ghostbusters. Get over it.
Well, what did you expect,
I
James?
know, but you need to get past the 2016 version. Like, we all know it wasn't great, and it's done. They're not making it anymore. It's finished. It was 5 years ago, and there are no sequels.
Guys, if you're a 40-year-old
It
man,
didn't do well.
If you're a 40-year-old man and you didn't like it, crowdfund a remake. Get $200 billion for it, like that Last Jedi remake.
I'm not saying it's just 40-year-old men, but it's I am saying that, aren't I?
Yeah, you are.
Look, I just didn't. I'm kind of, it's good because we gave it a bit of space because it's been like literally half a decade since that
That's
movie
correct, yes.
came out. But God, what? It's just Ghostbusters. Good Lord. Anyway, I guess it's my own fault in a way for talking about Ghostbusters. Did you see there was a poster?
James, before you go,
Yeah.
I've just gone to remakeTheLastJedi.com.
Oh, what are we up to?
The total pledge is $418,970,000.
How much did you pledge again? Because you pledged, didn't you?
Yeah, $1 million. Everything, all the money I had. I'm like, this is
All the money you have is $1 million.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they're also going to have to do a sequel, aren't they?
Yeah, so I guess they'll need another.
Are there any updates on that?
$418 million. There's some spam. There's some like pop-up ads. Nope, just total pledged.
Great. Can you still pledge?
Let's check. Nope, you can take our What Jedi Are You quiz.
Oh, who are you?
Let's find out. Probably Rey.
But I don't think that should be in that.
No.
I think they wouldn't put her in.
I'm not going to take this quiz. It's got 9 questions.
9 questions?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Should you just say, what Jedi do you want to be?
Ray.
It should say, obviously, what you're going to do is you're going to keep taking the test and answering questions to get to the Jedi you want to be. So just say which Jedi you want to be. All right?
That's true. Did you see they announced Spider-Man Freshman Year, which is an animated series? Follows Peter Parker on his way to becoming Spider-Man in the MCU with a journey unlike we've ever seen and a style that celebrates the character's early comic book roots. Executive producer Jeff Trammell serves as head writer. So basically, it's an MCU origin Tom Holland Spider-Man, but maybe Tom Holland's not in it. Spider-Man show.
Okay, so we're doing this. This is going to be set prior to Captain America: Civil War.
I
presumably.
assume, but I don't know.
And he's going to be in his weird sack suit.
I mean, it could be after. Like, it could be between Civil War and Infinity War as well.
Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah, but origin, I presume it means early days, and maybe we'll get some Uncle Ben action. By
What does that mean?
We see him shot.
Sure.
That action scene.
Yeah.
Pow! Wow, bring it back. I love it. Speaking of action, Obi Wan Kenobi got a sizzle reel.
Mm-hmm. Hello there.
There he is. Okay. I just pointed and I waited, and then he did it.
I just did. For people who don't know, this got cut out of the edit, but I just did dozens of different catchphrases. You picked the one that was correct.
You won't get away this time. You did that. You did all of them.
Yeah. Did I do that?
We saw a number of things confirmed.
Did I do that, Aduku?
This was leaked as well. Did you see?
No.
It was leaked. We saw some concept art, some Inquisitors, some Darth Vader fighting Obi Wan Kenobi.
That's the big news, I think.
We get him going off world. Cool. Really excited.
Yeah, because otherwise he's going to do battle with Darth Vader on Tatooine, and then Darth Vader's going to forget where he is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there you go. Again, and I was going to do a trailer breakdown. It didn't end up happening because they didn't release a proper trailer. I think what I recorded, a thing that I didn't end up releasing was this is just what I want to see from Star Wars at the moment. I don't care about anything else except for this.
All right.
And then I'm going to retire from Star Wars.
You're not going to retire from Star Wars.
I'm retiring.
No, you can't do it.
I'm going.
No one will let you.
You might be right. Don't
Also,
get me wrong.
what if it's bad?
Yeah, well, look, don't get me wrong. I don't think it will be. Maybe it will be. I don't know. But I think the Mandalorian
I think it'll
is
be good too, James.
Yeah. Boba Fett's
Folks,
cool.
I'm setting up his expectations that it's really good, and then it's going to be, then be kind of less than perfect. He'll be sad about it.
Ryan Johnson trilogy, I want to see it. That Rogue Squadron movie, all of these things are good. But this is the only thing I've ever wanted to see.
Wow.
Ever in my life.
In your life, wow.
I'm going to retire from life also. We also got, here we go. Here we bloody go.
Whoa.
X-Men 1997. You know what this is about?
X-Men
Yep.
in 97.
It's a continuation
Yes.
of the X-Men animated series, which stopped in 1996. So they're getting a number of the original cast back, not all of them, plus some new voices. It's coming in 2023. All right, then. That's
good.
pretty cool. Do you think kids love X-Men? Or do you think...
Go on.
There's
40-year-old men love X-Men.
Well, I think also they're also going to be live-action X-Men in the works by then. So it's going to all tie in. You're going to get old fans and new fans, and there'll be movies and whatever. It's all going to kick off.
Do you think, James, this animated series is going to be soundtracked by the hits of 1997, including Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba?
Yes, Mason. What other hits we got? Peaches?
Mbop by Hanson.
Peaches? I think that was 96.
Okay. I'll Be Missing You, P. Diddy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Semi
Semi-Charmed Life.
What else we got?
Hypnotized, Notorious B.I.G. Bittersweet Symphony.
Oh, yeah. Which Smashing Pumpkins song was big that year?
It was probably Tonight.
Last night, yeah.
It may
was
be
that
on-
album, Melancholy, something?
And the Infinite Sadness.
Yeah.
I think that maybe that was like 95 or something.
Okay.
Anyway, I Want You, Savage Garden. Little bit of Savage Garden.
yeah.
Put that in there. Okay.
Savage Garden, fun fact, the lead singer from Savage Garden, Darren Hayes, followed me on Twitter, and then he stopped following me on Twitter.
Whoa.
Don't harass him.
Yeah.
But he's a big Star Wars guy.
That's right.
That Savage Garden, that Melancholy something was in 95.
Okay.
I'm an idiot.
Did I not say 95?
You said, I don't know what you said. You probably said 95. What else were you saying, though?
Do you know what I mean? Oasis.
I know what you mean.
Remember that album?
I remember Oasis.
That album was huge.
Hey, who am I? I've done this before, but who am I? I fucking hate my brother.
Either of
Both of
the
them.
Gallagher brothers, yeah.
That's my Oasis impression. Anything else?
Any other songs in 1997?
Yeah.
Song 2, Blur.
Yeah.
God, remember Britpop? You don't remember.
Of course
any
I
of this.
remember Britpop.
How do you remember Britpop but not Radiohead?
I know who they are.
Yeah, all right.
A Radiohead pop, really, though?
It was like but it was like, that sort of, it was that era when that British rock was
Would you
popular.
consider Green Day Britpop?
No.
I know they're not British, but he does that kind of...
Oh, I
The
see.
voice, the inflection is a
No,
bit kind of...
no,
okay.
no.
There you go. Anyway, should we move on? Or should
Yes.
we keep doing this?
I mean, I like doing this. I like looking at things.
Stop
and
living
being
in the
like,
past, Mason.
No, I will. I'm just going to live in the past. Thank you.
Why-
Tony Braxton.
Why are you doing that?
Yes.
We had some logos and reveals for the Echo TV series.
Oh, Return of the Mac. Sorry.
Oh, man. The people used to do that joke at when I worked at McDonald's for like the Big Mac and whatever.
That sounds like a
You
good
put
joke.
it places. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was really funny. It was really funny the first time down to the last time that I did it because I did it every time I was there.
Wow.
You know?
Yes, sure.
Did you see there was a reveal of Echo, the TV series?
No.
So the Echo, and I think it's going to be...
The Daredevil supporting character.
Apparently-
She's going to be in Hawkeye,
Okay.
right?
Apparently, it's also going to all the rumors. It's going to fold in a lot of Netflix stuff. Like you're going to see Daredevil and whatever, which would be rad. Ironheart logo, Agatha House of Harkness series.
Yes.
So Jack Schaefer is working on that. Who worked on WandaVision, which I think is great.
Okay.
Marvel Zombies is getting its own season,
Yes.
animated.
With that classic sort of Marvel Zombies kind of Addams Family style
I wonder
logo.
whether they're doing like it'll continue or it'll be a new dimension.
I think it's going to be a new dimension.
Yeah, because Marvel Zombies in the comics, it's like often they just do a new dimension of zombies.
Mm.
What If is getting a season 2. I Am Groot animated, where it's a little Groot show. We also got an image of Secret Invasion. Did you see that?
Yes,
With
it's just Nick Fury's got a
Nicholas
big
Fury.
beard.
Yeah.
Looking good because he's been out in space probably.
They're out in space.
They don't have razors in space.
Don't have razor spaces. Ms. Marvel, got some footage for that.
Okay, yeah,
It's
great.
coming up. I think they said last quarter next year, I believe. It got pushed. We got a small teaser for Moon Knight and Oscar Isaac. Boy, is he committing to a voice.
I think it's because Moon Knight has multiple personalities,
Yes.
and one of them is probably the cab driver. I think maybe he's a cab.
Yeah.
That's the cab driver personality who is also British in this somehow.
The problem
Hello,
the problem with committing
I'm Jake Lotley.
the problem with committing to a voice is, and we saw that with Wanda, you have to then justify.
I'm the Fist of Khonshu.
You have to justify.
He's an Egyptian god.
You have to justify
Or
coming
I had
out.
an hallucination from my near-death experience
think
in
it's both?
Egypt. Yeah, it's probably both. Yeah, I think he's an alien.
You got to commit to it. You know what I mean? For a
Yeah.
while, and then fade out of it. Now you mentioned this as well. We got some very brief imagery of She-Hulk.
Yes.
And there's also one image in particular where we see Smart Hulk. And then there's another one where Bruce Banner and, what's her name? Who's
Jennifer Walters.
Jennifer Walters.
Tatiana Maslany.
Yes, but they're in like 70s outfits.
Yeah, it's like the very small snippet we got made it look like it was LA Law or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and you see
even the logo.
The
looks
logo's like
a-
She-Hulk looks like NCIS or whatever. One
or
of
like
those.
or
Not
like
that.
ER or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I think that's the vibe.
It's procedural, I guess.
Yeah, it's procedural, yeah.
Something. There's
What did you
Maggie-
think of the She-Hulk? The
Yeah, good. I like
design, yeah.
it.
I was a little taken aback, but then I'm like, well, the Hulk's entirely CG, isn't he? So
Yeah.
why am I?
Yeah.
Why am I surprised?
Why are
by
you so
this?
wrapped up in this, Mason?
I know.
Let it go.
I shan't.
Okay. Do you like the movie Ice Age?
No.
Do you like any of the sequels?
No.
Do you looking forward to this next sequel?
Yeah.
Will they go back to the dinosaur land? or
Yes, I
whatever?
said yes.
I got a bit of a soft spot for Ice Age.
You're an ice head?
Yeah. I think they're pretty cool. And
Yeah.
because they're kind of like,
That's what they say on the street. They go, there goes James. He's a real ice head.
I don't want to say addict, but he's definitely something that he's committed to for far too
yeah,
long.
yeah.
But I think they're fun and silly and
Okay.
they don't really mean anything and they're nice. They're nice movies.
Yeah.
And they're stupid in a good way. Cars on the Road is a series.
Where else would they be, James?
Sometimes they go to a dinosaur kingdom, probably.
Huh, all right.
I don't know.
My question's been answered.
Bringing back Owen Wilson and Larry the Cable Guy in their roles. Baymax, they're getting a spin-off, that big marshmallow guy
Yes.
from something, whatever.
Big Hero 6.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not a bad movie either. And and that's not everything, but that's most things, I guess.
Yeah.
I think they're doing a Princess Frog spin-off kind of
Was
thing.
Paul Newman one of the cars? Or did I
Yeah, he
imagine
was.
that?
He was Doc Hudson.
Okay, right.
And then he died. It's the last movie he did. Not the last live action. I think maybe the last live action was Road to Perdition.
Do you think they'll reconstruct his voice?
No, they wrote him out.
All
They're
right,
just
okay.
like, that car died. And I wanted to be like, did he get in an accident? What do you mean? How do
was in-
cars die?
It was in a crooked.
Because if you keep repairing them, they're fine.
It was in a crooked card game.
In-
They drove him into a river.
Yeah.
They put a stick on his gas pedal and in between the steering wheel so he couldn't steer, and they drove him off into a river.
Can you do that in the world of cars? Can you even get inside
I don't know.
them?
No one knows. No one knows if you can get in the cars in cars. Or would you just open the door and there's brains and blood? You don't know. We don't know what they're made of. Doesn't make any sense. They don't have any passengers.
No, but if you can get in like a trailer though, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's odd. So here's a question though. In the world of cars,
Yes.
So a car dies, right? Or you can replace parts.
Yes.
And is it a Ship of Theseus situation where if you replace all the parts of Lightning McQueen and then reassemble the old one with the new one, is that two Lightning
There's
McQueens?
two Lightnings McQueen.
Lightning's McQueens?
I think some would say that Lightning's McQueen only, can't strike twice in the same place. Probably.
Oh, that's interesting.
So
Yeah.
but yes,
Great.
yeah. Maybe it's like Kit and Car.
Yeah, yeah.
The good car and the evil car.
I've never been a huge fan of Cars, but the Cars 3 is quite good.
Okay.
It's like the Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, wow.
of Car. Like he gets like a severe injury and then he has to
I
like
see,
come
right.
back. It's quite good.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's about like it's a young man's game or a young car's game, as it
Yeah,
were.
yeah.
In this case,
Does he have like his door in a sling or something? It's just on it's just on the couch watching TV.
no, he has to go in front of it. Like
And is the couch alive?
he's on a
That's my
VR thing and he can't use the VR thing because he's learning to drive through VR and he's like, I don't use VR, I use the feel of the road or whatever.
They have VR.
Yeah, it's VR.
Huh.
It's VR, Mason. VR.
great.
Thank you.
Virtual car.
I'll be here for the rest of the episode where we're talking about No Time to Die. So at the request of one Broden Kelly, who I wanted to get on the show, but then speaking to you, he's in Queensland, isn't he?
That's correct. He's
So he
not
couldn't
even in
come
the
on for
state.
this
Yeah.
week.
We could have put him up on the screen.
We could have.
Yeah.
But then not giving him a voice. He could have just...
Sort of tapped on the glass immediately. Yes, that would have been really good.
That's right. He had a lot of thoughts on No Time to Die. And thank God he didn't spoil it for me because, boy, is this a ride.
Isn't it though? Yeah.
So just quickly, in terms of box office, this has made 145 million in the US, 554 in the rest of the world on a budget of 250 million. I think it's the number 5th or 6th highest grossing movie of the year. which is pretty good. Consider all things considered. What do you think the story was?
Oh, Bond's back, baby.
He's back. We thought You thought he retired. He did.
He did retire.
He's often retiring.
And he came back, but then you thought, but hang on, did he retire again? Yeah, he did. But then he's back. But then you're like, did he go rogue? He went rogue and then he retired again. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All the things happen. If you thought it happened 100 times, it did. But anyway, on the end of the last one, he retired to be with Madeline Swan, his great love, after his other great love died, and he's like, all right, this one's all right too.
Yeah.
But he's got to come back because of terrorism and that.
Terrorism's happening all around him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe there's secrets.
The world's moved on, Bond.
Oh my
God. Bond? What are you doing here, Bond?
They've been saying
this is some bureaucrat. He's like, Bond, you're a big hammer or something. You know, they're always like that.
Yeah.
The world doesn't need a big hammer anymore. It needs
drones or something.
It needs internet. You know, and he's like, well, maybe I don't have internet, but you can't use internet. Sometimes you need to
throw a man out a window.
You can't do that with internet, can you?
Maybe you could throw him in like you could kick them out of windows
or of an internet cafe, for example. And then the bureaucrat's like,
I just meant windows, like the program,
because he knows he's been beaten. You know. But anyways,
you need a man on the ground, or woman. You know.
Anyway, Bond comes back, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the plot of the movie. But what I like about this movie, I thought it was a very good combination of
the old and the new.
The old and new, but it was a good, solid, like the world's at stake action movie, but it also had like a good human drama to it.
I agree.
Like it worked in combination. It didn't feel like, oh, well, we've tacked one on, kind of thing, which I enjoyed.
That was kind of my thought going into this. Like he retired, he found Spectre. Where are we even going from here? And it does feel like a bookend to Casino Royale in a lot of ways, but in the best ways. Like it does spend a lot of time kind of wrapping up Spectre and like exploring his relationships and things like that. But I'm surprised. I think this was pretty fucking solid.
I think this was a really good send-off. As somebody who didn't particularly enjoy either Skyfall or Spectre, but enjoyed Casino Royale and to a lesser extent, but still pretty solid upon a rewatch, Quantum of Solace. I thought this was a really good capper in terms of just rounding out Daniel
Taking
Craig's.
a big specky like Kappa.
Yes.
Famous Australian footballer.
Warwick Kappa, yes, that's right. I thought this was a good finish as Daniel Craig's tenure of Bond, which has been going for 100 years.
It's interesting because you say that, and that is true.
He's the longest serving Bond?
He would. Well, Connery came back like unofficially.
Right, okay, yeah.
But maybe. Who knows? And also, this was delayed, so that probably.
Yeah, no, that's
true.
They
filmed it 4 years ago or whatever. But it's interesting because a lot of the things I don't like about the Craig movies, like the fact that they all tied in and everyone's got a destiny and he's got a brother and like all the plot lines bleed over and all these relationships. I think this movie actually, as a finale, benefits from that. Because if that world didn't exist, he would have just done another mission.
That's true.
And which is what I like to see in a Bond movie a lot of the times. But there is a legacy now to this character and all the other Bond movies are connected. And these ones are very much like now a self-contained set of stories that you could watch as one narrative.
Yes, that's true.
And they make some big swings, which you can't do in a general ongoing Bond narrative.
That's true.
And I think that this movie benefited from that. Finally, something, enough time to die, etc.
Oh, yeah,
the joke we do.
We've done it for years. We've done it for 100 years. We wrote it on that cave wall or that dinosaur or that thing you said.
That's right. There's some pretty big spoilers, but we won't get to them yet. I do think this story somewhere along the way kind of trips and falls up its own ass, like somewhere in the middle, and it kind of gets caught up in deception and who's who and whatever. But I think it totally comes together then by the finale.
I think because of this podcast, or just as a movie fan, but also because on this podcast, we like to nitpick.
Yeah,
I do have nitpicks about this movie,
definitely,
but I'll save them for after in the spoilers. But I think sort of generally, as it's a beautifully shot movie, James, which I enjoyed.
It's interesting because having like recently rewatched all the others, and Spectre in particular. A lot of those scenes have like a weird kind of mist and kind of fog over them, they're kind of a browny, grey looking movie. But this one reminds me of like Your Majesty's Secret Service, kind of like huge vistas and
You said, James,
on Her Majesty's Secret Service. I know I misspoke.
On Your Majesty's Secret Surface. Surface Pro.
Microsoft Surface
on Her Majesty's
Windows tablet.
Microsoft Majesty's Secret Surface.
But those like
Bing.
yes, those Bond movies of old
Yeah.
have like beautiful real locations. And I actually watched it with Claire,
Yeah.
who's not a massive Bond fan, didn't remember really any of these new movies in particular.
Do you ever lean in and go, that's Bond?
That's James Bond.
Yeah.
When he says
He sucks.
he's a bad guy. Watch out for him. If he was real, just stay away from him.
And yet he's probably the best guy in these movies. I don't understand it. Just everybody else is worse than him somehow.
But I think it did a really good job of showing like exotic and interesting locales. And I think like a lot of these movies are now missing that because you can travel the world.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, it's an airport in fucking Jamaica or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
right.
like, who cares?
There's a scene in this, it's in the trailer. There's an action sequence set in sort of a heavily canopied forest. Like there's a car chase through some.
He flips like 5 SUVs in that
Yeah.
car
But
chase.
there's this car chase and it goes in this countryside and then
Yeah.
it goes to this heavily sort of very dense forest and it dips down to sort of really dark and grey and I'm like, oh, this is what most movies look like now.
Yeah, that is true, yeah.
And then you know they come out of the chase
out of it,
afterwards
it's-
and I'm like, oh, this is beautiful again.
So the director of this,
Cary Fukunaga.
yeah, he's got a background in horror. And I
Oh.
think you see a bit of that because the main villain, like the opening scene in particular,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a Madeline Swan flashback and you find out what happened to her parents or whatever.
Which was alluded to in a previous one. It's
Yeah,
alluded
she
to in
mentioned
Spectre,
that her
yeah.
mother was whatever and something. Her mother is whatever and something.
Yeah. She was a Microsoft Surface salesperson, and someone came back for revenge.
Yeah, he did Maniac. The movie Maniac, which
I
I
don't
haven't. I
remember
think it's an
Maniac.
Elijah Wood movie.
Oh.
Beasts of No Nation, which I haven't seen. But I think, yeah, but this movie, I think he brought something a little bit different that was definitely lacking in the last movie. And I think I know for you don't love Skyfall.
Correct.
And there is a silliness to this because there is a plot of like a virus that specifically targets people due to nanotechnology or something. Is that a spoiler? Not really, I guess. Is it?
Well, it's just the thing. It's
Yeah.
the thing that is pushing the plot forward.
But it doesn't really matter.
No, not really, no.
Yeah.
No, I didn't mind that. Look, I think the two thoughts that I had regarding that, I think it felt to me like they made a specific choice to make a very good action movie as opposed to like,
Yeah.
let's make this as Bond as humanly possible. Let's just throw it.
Like a Die Another Day.
Yeah,
like
like
it's the big finale.
Yeah,
or whatever.
it did have Bond-like elements to it, but it didn't feel to me at any point that they were like, okay, we've got to shoehorn in all the Bond stuff.
Yeah.
I feel they went, let's make a solid action movie with good action sequences that are fun, and we'll tie in Bond elements to it. But it wasn't like, let's do all the Bond cliches, and then we'll see if there's a movie to this.
Yeah. And even then, they managed to squeeze some stuff in because, like, towards the end, like, he meets up with Q, and I'm like, give him the gadgets. I think I even said out loud, you got to give him the gadgets.
Oh, but that was my other thought because you said, it's here's the plot device. It felt like the modern day version of the bad guys hijacked 2 nuclear warheads.
Yeah.
and I thought it was quite a good modernization of that.
And they even use like an old nuclear facility.
Yes,
or whatever at the end.
Like villain, we had a classic villain lair, but it did feel kind of. It felt real as opposed to we've got
Exploding hotel.
Yeah, exactly.
Which might be a real hotel. Apparently.
hotel, yeah.
A real exploding hotel.
Yeah.
I think look, he's always retired and going rogue, and
That's
he certainly
correct, yes.
is in these movies. This movie in particular.
Bloody lucky for some. You see that bloody villa he lives in? Oh.
Not bloody wrong. But I like how he because he's forced back into the game and he goes into Eat M. He goes into Meet M. And it's interesting.
Oh no!
And M is like
I always knew I'd go this way, Bond.
M's like quite a villainous character in this in a lot of ways. There's a lot of people who run like Secret Service branches probably are in real life. But I like how he goes into M when he's not working for M. He's just like, I don't give a fuck. I don't work for you. I don't have to listen to you. I'm tired. I'm old. I'm fucking sick of it. I like that. I just like this version of Bond he's just had a fucking gutful. He's not taking advice from anybody. He's not listening to anybody anymore. He's just fucking sick of it. His knees are sore.
Yeah.
He's burnt out. He's been chasing fucking ghosts for 2 decades. But I think also it did.
It's interesting because in some ways it feels like he barely got started, but he's
Yeah.
been doing this for decades.
Yeah.
When was Casino Royale?
2006. So
2006. Okay.
15 years.
Yeah, right.
And I think also one of my big complaints of Spectre is that I didn't believe that he'd leave for Leia Seydoux because she's heir to the Seydoux fortune family.
Yes.
Fortune 500 family. But I think their relationship in this was very well done. They really saved that character, I feel, in this.
I feel like everybody's really molded together as a team in this one.
It's kind of a shame it's the last one.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame it's the last one. We'll have to talk about that afterwards.
Yeah.
But I felt like everybody, he'd Bond had developed a good rapport with Moneypenny and with Hugh, and we've got the new 00 agent in Lashana Lynch.
But she was great.
Um,
I think if you had concerns that I never thought she was going to be the new James Bond and whatever.
Yeah, right.
Because she is the new 007. It's in the trailers or whatever. But it felt fine. Like, not that I was ever worried about it, but I think if you were worried about it, people aren't complaining about this. They probably are.
Yeah, they definitely are.
But
Yeah.
there's not really. They're a good kind of counterpoint. She's
I think they are,
She's essentially like the younger version of him.
Yeah,
Really, she's
yeah.
what he was.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, you know.
It's like getting mad. You go to your, the accounting firm that does your taxes and the new accountant. You're like, how dare you? Where's the other guy?
Old accountant. Speaking of other agents and whatnot, Ana de Armas appears in this
Yes.
for like 15 minutes. Really fun.
Yeah.
Really cool and fun. And they've been talk of like a spin-off. I don't think they're going to do it. But she was terrific as well.
Yeah.
She was
And
really
it
cool.
was, it was I'm not sure of the timeline, but it was a nice sort of callback to their team up in Knives Out. So
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Right?
Everyone knows that together.
I think everybody forgets about that, especially since like in the
They're both so different.
They're
in
both
those
so
movies,
different, and especially Ana de Armas, who in Knives Out is sort of this very kind of like timid, very small kind of character. Whereas in this, she's like in her evening gown and she's firing
Doing
two
big
guns at
kicks.
once, and
Yeah, loved it. I also loved that him and Felix Leiter are mates.
yeah,
That's great to see him again. And Billy Magnuson,
yes,
incredible. Big fan. He should have been the Flash.
big face,
Big-
big face of
Don't you reckon he should have been a Wally West or a
yeah,
whatever?
yeah,
you know?
okay.
Should have recast that. That's all I'm saying.
A lot of charisma in that guy.
Put him in it.
Nothing ever came of that because he was the Prince rival in the Aladdin remake, right? And they were going to do
They are doing a
spin-off.
spin-off.
Oh,
I
it's
think
still
they-
happening.
I don't know
Okay,
if
right.
they might have talked about it on Disney Plus Day
Yeah.
or whatever. You know what else I thought was terrific in this?
What's that?
He drinks so much.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably because he's in pain
Yeah.
and also because he's a drunk.
Everybody's drinking a lot. M's really putting him away.
That that scene.
There's a line in it where I think Bond says, again, when he's not working for M anymore, he's like, you seem really thirsty today.
Yeah.
You just finished that drink, you're getting another drink. And
Yeah.
then
And your desk sucks.
Yeah, you're a little man on the big desk.
Yeah. But like
Bond.
he's doing big action scenes and he's pausing to just drink in between. There's a moment where he just swipes a martini like during a sequence, like and just like drinks it and then just throws it away. Because he's probably sore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's sore and he's drunk and he's probably got a headache.
Yeah.
And he's going about his day. I also thought the action sequences were really terrific. There's like he John Wicks up some stairs at one point. It's made to look like a oneer. The opening sequence of the chase in the Italian villa or whatever.
Palazzo, probably.
Yes.
Whatever that is. Whatever a palazzo is.
There's a moment, and it's in the trailer, where they all surround the car and they're machine gunning it.
Yes.
And in the trailer, it just kind of cuts. So he, pops the machine guns and he like spins his way out of there. But in the actual movie, he kind of sits in it as like an intimidation tactic.
Yeah.
And he just waits. And he's just kind of seeing it unfold, and the windows are dinting in, and he's like, the woman who he thinks betrayed him is just like freaking out.
Yeah.
And it just really kind of ramps up. And it could have just been like, he comes in, he's trapped, he's got machine guns and he's out of there or whatever.
Yeah.
But just that, I think these action scenes were so well paced.
Yeah.
And
also, just a little
worked on
side
character
note. I'll see if it's still here. But a friend of the show, Pooj, who has a YouTube channel called Pooj Variety Hour, POOJS, did a little edit.
Excuse me.
It's this is ages ago, and a billion years ago.
Is this the
It's 40 minutes of Bond. It's 40 minutes of Bond spinning in a circle, firing machine guns. I'm not sure. Here it is. It's
what's the date on that?
1 year ago.
Wow.
It's No Time to Die's Aston Martin spinning and shooting for 40 minutes, if you want to track that down on YouTube.
Check it all out.
He also does a bunch of other videos about, looks like he's done some Weekly Planet stuff. He's done some like Easter eggs and things you've missed in TV shows and movies and such.
Very good.
So check that out.
Pooge.
Yes.
Well done, Pooge. Big fan. Just really, really good action. What do you think of the opening song and credits and stuff?
Oh, I really like the Billie Eilish song is pretty solid, I think.
Yeah.
Again, it's down tempo in the way that the Spectre one was. But I really liked the opening titles. Good. DNA and so forth.
God, DNA and so forth.
Yes.
So I also like there's a number of times in the movie where Daniel Craig speaks on his phone on speaker like a boomer.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You know how they do it?
Yeah. I feel we have to talk about this. How did you feel about the product placement? Were you overwhelmed with it?
I didn't honestly notice it that much.
Yeah.
How did you feel about it?
I didn't mind it. I think it seems
You said Q's got a terrible watch.
he's got a new swatch. There's a swatch.
Swatch watch?
A Q design swatch watch. I don't care.
You showed me it before the show.
I don't care for
because you
it.
bought it.
No, I didn't buy it. I like Swatch generally.
Yeah.
I bought a Swatch the other day, but I don't like this watch.
Yeah.
But Bond obviously has a new. Yeah, he obviously has the new Omega Seamaster Professional Titanium.
Sure.
It's a new one. Did you know that it was designed by Omega in conjunction with Daniel Craig?
Oh,
Like
really?
apparently he's way into all this sort of stuff of like.
Yeah.
But I wonder
didn't know that.
if I were to talk to Daniel Craig, you know, if we were to interview him in any way, I probably wouldn't ask about Bond really, but beyond like, what's the process for that? Do they just put 3 watches in front of you on a desk and you go that one, or are you in there like? Because
That would be
I read
fascinating,
this interview with him where he's like, okay, well, we tested out a bunch of things and like we were like, well, he's in a lot of action, so he wanted to be light, so we made it out of titanium and all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, you didn't have to do any of that. You didn't have to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it could have just been like, well, how's this?
Yeah.
What do you think? Yeah,
But you
great.
can have it for the low price of $9,000. So.
Is that all?
Yep.
US?
Yeah.
Easy. That's a steal, mate. I love it. I love it.
But I like all his little outfits. I think that this might be his best assortment of little outfits, maybe since Quantum of Solace.
I like his little blacksmith outfit he's wearing at the end. His little suspenders that he's running around in.
Suspenders in his sandal? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
He looks good.
Yeah.
He's also crazy fit in this.
Yeah.
Like I think
He's busting out of that t-shirt.
he put in like a couple of years work into this.
Uh-huh.
My wife Claire was like, my God, look at this man.
Wow.
Look at she's a big fan.
And where were you when she was saying this? Right on the couch next
She
to
made me sit in another room, Mason. She wouldn't let me watch it.
it?
No,
You had to watch it on your phone in the toilet.
we had a cinema good time. But it was the fishing thing that she
Yes.
liked.
Mm-hmm.
And like she's not a big fan of like the suit so much when he's all dolled up. She likes the like James Bond
Also,
fishing.
maybe his best tuxedo.
You think so?
I think so.
It
yeah.
seems like it fits him well as well.
That's what I'm saying. I think everything fit him. Here's the thing, though. So these are some facts that nobody's interested in except for me. So there were 33 of those tuxedos made for that one scene where he's in a tuxedo.
Yeah.
But they weren't. It's a Tom Ford tuxedo, but it wasn't made in like a Tom Ford factory. Tom Ford gave them like the pattern and the fabric, and the movie tailors made them.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I'm thinking maybe they went.
did that. Let's not make them
Yeah, I
tiny.
think they were like, let's add an edge to everything. Like
Mason's
maybe,
been talking some real shit.
we saw those videos, and we are mad about it. So I think maybe but they had to do 33 because like obviously he needs some, his stunt doubles need some, and you need some for after he's fallen off some scaffolding and he's all ripped.
And you got to do press photos and whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Totally. I totally get that. I also like how there's little attention to detail stuff. Like they got his scar from like Skyfall.
Oh right, yeah.
Things like that. Like just little things like I feel like in the old ones. They just don't.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And this, I think that all tells the story of this guy who's just been getting just like whipped in the nuts and like kicked off scaffolding or whatever for 15 years.
You wouldn't want to fight Bond on his scaffolding. He's had the experience at this point.
No, thank you. I guess we could also talk about a couple of the villains. So they mention EMP. They explain an EMP.
Yeah.
I mean, it's brief. And by that point, I'm like, I'm enjoying this. I'm going to let that pass.
That's right.
I'm going to let that... And also, great use of an EMP.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. There's a couple of things that returned of note. He just flat out does the shaken, not stirred thing, which this one is kind of adverse to a lot of the time. He won't
Okay.
He won't do it. You know, the first time they're like shaking or stirred, and he's like, "Don't talk to me. I hate you." You remember?
Yes.
And we see a vehicle that turns into a different vehicle. And that's very, like the plane turns into a submarine.
Oh, sure.
And you don't really kind of get that
No, that's true.
as much in these ones.
Yeah. I mean, it should have been a Lotus Esprit that fell out of a plane.
I
and turned into
agree.
a submarine. But
I agree, but
yeah, there's limits to what you can do in a modern day Bond, I guess.
it did feel like a callback kind of
definitely.
thing. But Blofeld is in it a little bit.
Yeah.
But it felt like a bit like we have to wrap this up.
Yeah.
More than like
I
he's
have
a
some
threat.
thoughts about that in spoilers,
Yeah,
I think, but yeah.
But I liked Rami Malek as the villain. He does the we're the same and whatever. I'm like, yep, okay.
Yeah.
Also, does Q have Blofeld's cat? Or is that no? Or is
No,
that
that's a Sphinx, I
I was
think.
going to say that's the Austin Powers Dr. Evil cat.
Yes,
isn't
that's
it?
right. Yeah, Blofeld usually has a little white cat. I
Yeah,
think.
that's what I thought. Anyway, should we do spoilers?
Let's do spoilers. I'm going to say best movie ever. I had a good
This
time.
is-
I had a good time at the theaters.
I think it might
I'm
be
looking
my
forward to seeing this again.
Second favorite.
Yeah, it might be mine. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
To Casino Royale.
Yes.
But I also think that, and we'll do it in spoilers.
Oh, speaking of,
Yeah.
you know, I always say I love Casino Royale, except there's the casino moment. Where they're playing poker and there's Mathis is always like, they're putting all the money in and now they're going to turn a card and you know who's got the best card.
Yeah.
Like they really talk to you like an idiot when they could just have the thing play out. There is a moment in this where there's just a guy in a room explaining what is happening. During one particular sequence, there's just a guy in a room going, this is what's currently happening.
Which sequence is it?
I'll have to save it for spoilers, but
Let's do some spoilers.
Okay, yeah.
I also think just before we do spoilers,
yes.
I can see how if you're like a Bond traditionalist, that there are some things that happen in this,
Okay.
which you would absolutely despise. But I think
But maybe you liked About Time.
I think it's good, and I think it's also good because let's just do spoilers.
Okay,
now.
so folks, spoilers.
Yeah.
This is spoilers for the movie No Time to Die. We're really going to get into it.
it turns out,
Well, before I was going to say, I'm going to start right at the end. So if you haven't gotten to that point, don't
Yeah.
listen. Stop listening. Here's your warning. Take the things out of your ears.
yep.
If
If you're a fan, if you're
us.
even a casual fan of like Bond,
yeah.
then I think this is definitely worth watching.
Spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They really just vaporized him, didn't they?
They
Just
really did.
vaporized him at the end. He's dead. He's dead and he's not coming back.
He gave himself permission, something,
Yeah.
no time to die.
Which, and if
the
I'm
joke,
gonna, if
Mason.
I'm going to nitpick,
Sure.
I'm going to nitpick anything about this movie, it felt a little bit defeatist in the sense that he went, well, I can't be in a room with my girlfriend and my kid
Yeah.
now, so I guess I'm going to die. I'll get exploded,
Well,
I guess.
So the main plot.
Do you think technology might evolve at some point?
Well,
Bond?
see, the way I took it,
Yes.
right? If I had to look at this with a critical robotic eye.
Well, you have to. Oh,
Thank you. So to explain the plot, the device in this, it's a nanovirus.
yes.
Shout out to the game Everything or Nothing, which also has a nanovirus.
All right.
That it targets individuals, but it also targets people in the same like blood lineage.
Yes.
So-
It needs a sample of somebody's DNA, and then you program it into the thing.
Yep.
And then if you are exposed to that, the nanotechnology, you die. And it's got your DNA in it, you die. So you could put it on somebody, and then they shake your hand, and if it's programmed to kill you, it will kill you. But otherwise, it won't kill anybody. But it will also kill your family. Yes.
Rami Malek scratches him with it at the end.
And it's programmed to kill Madeline Swan, and anyone with Madeline Swan's DNA, so he can never be with her again.
But it turns out also he has a child.
yes.
Which is another thing I liked about this, another thing which I think people would also might hate.
Yeah, right. But I mean, it's inevitable, isn't it?
Yes.
With Bond.
But they also make it very clear.
Wrap it up, Bond, for God's
It's
sake.
true, but it's amazing that he got his balls whipped to death.
Yeah.
She could have a kid. So
She's allergic to rope now. She was born allergic to rope.
she came out like a frayed knot.
There we
Thank
go.
you. So you can't get it off, the virus.
Apparently, yes.
Yeah. So, which I think when they said that, I'm like, this is coming back.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
But the way that I see it is, so he gets shot. I think he knows he's going to die there anyway.
Yes.
I think he knows he can't escape. And I think he also knows that if he does escape, he doesn't want to risk passing the virus to somebody else and then it getting back to his family.
Yeah, right.
Because you see it because he touches Madeline Swan and then touches Blofeld and it kills her.
Yes.
Kills him. So I think he's just not taking that risk. And I think
Yeah.
he's just also at the point in his life where he's just like, I just can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like a man like that, if he existed, cannot live forever.
No, that's true.
And
I mean, and the Bond and Daniel Craig. It felt to me like, and we mentioned earlier, when Sam Raimi did Spider-Man 3 and they made him put Venom in, and he didn't want to do Venom.
Yeah.
So at the end of Spider-Man 3, Venom is reduced to ash. It felt very much in the same vein. I think Daniel Craig was like, literally destroy my version of this character. So nobody can ever be like, maybe you'll come back, maybe. And you'd be like, maybe I will balls. So at this point, like once the spoil, once everybody's seen this and people can talk about it openly, he can just be like, well, my character was destroyed by a barrage of multiple warhead cruise
then
missiles.
Be like prequel something?
Yeah. Well, I had a thought just before we go into that, but I had a thought. It was interesting that they spent all of the last movie building up Spectre and Blofeld, and then they just obliterated them all.
I think that was good because Spectre, it turns out, had its own Spectre.
Oh, yes.
It was Spectre's So Rami Malek's character, his family was killed by Spectre, specifically Mr. White, who was Madeline Swan's father.
Correct.
So he's basically going around killing all of Spectre.
Yes. And that's the thing that I was going to say. When that happens, when there's the party, the guy that programmed the virus is like, it's working.
Yeah.
It's killing only the Spectre members. Yeah. And it's like,
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
We know. We, the audience, would have figured it out. And if you didn't, you're probably not thinking about it. You're probably just watching the movie.
Exactly. And they explain it later anyway. But I think giving, like, this movie dedicates a lot of time to destroying Spectre.
Yes.
Which I also think is good in terms of you don't have to have James Bond chasing Spectre around,
Yeah.
So you've got this other organization who don't exist to do that, but, that's ultimately the leader's goals. But I think also giving him personal stakes and giving him a daughter, giving him something to live for and then something to protect makes for a compelling final entry.
Yes.
Not as an ongoing thing. If they had to do 5 more after this, you've written yourself into a corner. And he was evaporated. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Got to put a suit on a pile of mist.
Okay, here's if we may, what do you think is going to happen going forward with this franchise?
I've written this exact same question.
I have three options for you.
Sure.
In order from most likely to least likely.
Okay.
All right. Number 1, they continue this universe with Lashana Lynch's 007 and they add more 00 agents because I think it's interesting. It feels to me, especially in this one, that everybody on the team has found their feet. And we're back to there being, a stoic M, and we've got a Q's back and Moneypenny is back. Like these they were all absent from like the Casino Royale, and they've slowly built them all back in.
Yeah.
And now we've just knocked off 007, or James Bond. So why not reuse the team? And I'm wondering, like, maybe they could do... I mean, they're obviously reticent to do a TV series. They said they'd never do it, but maybe they would do it.
We'll see.
But I think they could probably add in more 00 agents.
Yeah.
We could see what all the other 00 agents are always doing because they're constantly being mentioned. And presumably...
You occasionally see one, but...
I don't think we've ever seen another 00 besides...
Trevelyan?
Oh, no, I meant in the current continuity.
No, we haven't.
Yeah, but...
Maybe.
Because they're always saving the world, presumably. I mean, they're all having as colourful adventures as Bond is.
Maybe he's the only one. He's never met them.
No, it's true.
They just tell him.
They're like,
he's just overworked.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, we have to give you this mission because 009, he's snowed under with paperwork. Sorry. He's so snowed under that his office door's locked. You can't get in there. It's almost like he's not there, but he
opens
there.
it, just leads to an alley.
That's right. Again, I think people...
So that's number 1.
Well, here's the thing also. All the social media handles for this franchise are just 007.
Okay.
They're not James Bond 007.
Yep.
And I'm wondering if they're like, the value in this is...
The ongoing...
007, like the number. Maybe we can just do something like that. And also, I think maybe they'll go with this just because they can always reboot it again later.
Well, that is true.
And if my feeling is... Because it's been so long since the last one, I think if this does well and it's well received, they'd want to do another one fairly quickly.
Yeah.
If they just immediately reboot it, people will be like, what is this? But I think if they already have the established cast and crew and settings and whatever, they can just...
Well, speaking of, how's about if they continued it?
Yes.
And they kept everybody, which is what they'd often do, and then just roll in a new James Bond and just kind of... You know how Judi Dench folded over or whatever? Or even if you could keep everybody and you could keep even your Ana de Armas or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you put it in the 60s. So everybody,
there was my- yeah,
Q
that's
is
my-
still Q
Yeah,
and
yeah.
M is still M, but it's like
Yeah, maybe.
it's a 60s
I think
era.
that would. I think people would be like, "What does this mean?"
I would love that.
I was going to say, like, with the modern, if they kept with the first one, they could add Ana de Armas could become a 00, bring
Yeah.
her in. People like her. Obviously, you can't bring back Felix Leiter because he's dead.
That's a good death.
Yeah, but
was
also,
good.
well, here's the thing. Also,
I like how they were mates.
I reckon.
I like how he crushed that dude's head.
Yeah.
When he's like lying on the rock, he's like,
Yeah.
we're brothers or whatever.
I'm a big fan.
Why are you lying on a rock? You know he's just going to push the car on your head.
So second one was again full hard reboot. Everybody. Fresh start. You either do it in the modern day or you do it in the 60s. I think they could do that.
Yeah.
I think probably modern day just because it's.
I think that'd be more likely.
But here's the third one, and it's so unlikely, but it is also the dumbest idea I've ever had. So I can't rule out they won't do it.
Yeah.
At the start of the next one, they recover Bond. He's not quite dead. They put him back together with reconstructive surgery. It's the next actor to play Bond. And
Oh
they
my
just
God.
continue on.
I really hope they don't do that.
I reckon they could do it. I think it's so stupid,
Yeah.
but I think they could do
And
it.
he could be like, I can't go back to my family because of the nano
Exactly.
technology.
I think they could even be like, yeah, because the nanites, that's how I
Yeah.
survived, or like we did the DNA thing
That's
from Die Another
that's
Day.
pretty dumb. So, yeah.
But they roll in the Bond looks different. They do it like Doctor Who.
Yeah.
They roll it into like, well, he looks and some of his memories have gone, but we need him because he's a whatever. We've fixed his knees.
More like James Brown hair.
Yeah, nice.
Instead of
Good.
James Blonde.
Yeah, we had to give him brown hair this time around. Yeah.
Also, he looks like Idris Elba.
That's right, yeah.
We reconstructed him to look like.
Yeah.
God, I hope they don't do that.
I reckon they might do it. Though.
I'm sure they're considering literally all
They
the
would think
options.
about it. Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right in terms of like this universe is very well established in a competent way at this point,
Yeah.
especially after this one. Off the back of Spectre, which I'm sure I said at the time, I was just like, bin it. It's
Yeah,
done. Kill it.
Yeah.
But now they're in an interesting position where it's good again, in my eyes.
Yeah.
But I still think there are people who are like, he's got a daughter and he died and how dare you and whatever. But so much of this is interesting. And there is a big part of me that's like, I want to see more of this.
Yeah.
But also maybe just leave it.
Yeah. Right.
But also
yeah.
that's, how can they when it's like.
Yeah, because I feel like they could do more in this universe with the new agents and etc. There would be people who would be upset because they're like, I just want it to be James Bond or whatever.
Yeah.
But I wonder if like Eon Productions and all those guys are just like,
And Amazon who own this now.
yeah, I think they'd probably be like, well, we got to do something. So, you know.
What do we do?
Yeah.
Spectre has its own Spectre. Who
Yes,
knew?
that's true. Yeah. Also, nobody checked Blofeld for a robot eye? Nobody checked him?
No, and he was just I liked how he had his little robot eye out in the world.
Yeah.
And the EMP death of the,
that was
the
pretty good.
robot
That
eye.
was good, yeah.
Good stuff. Good
yeah.
stuff all around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He seemed tired and drunk. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Not Blofeld Bond.
Yeah.
Anyways, all in all, James Bond will return, it said at the end.
did say
I know
that,
I
it's
left,
true, yeah.
so I didn't but it did say that, did it?
Yeah, did you?
Cool. God. It's going to be interesting to see what they do next.
Isn't it though?
I'm hoping for I think they're going to keep a bunch of the cast and reboot. That's what I think they're going to do. Because you know how they kept the same queue for most of the movies
That's
and
true,
whatever,
yeah.
you know. So
Yeah.
I think that's probably
But I
what
mean,
they're
this.
gonna
But
do.
again, this is a different situation because they've recast.
I agree,
Because in
yeah.
the past they recast Bond, they didn't kill him and bring him back. So
You're right. It's completely different. They really evaporated him into a fine mist. Anything else?
I liked the reappearance of "We Have All the Time in the World," the song, because then you know tragedy is arriving because that's what that song is for.
Which song is it?
You know the song that goes, "We have all the time."
When did that play?
in the world? Just before
It was eviscerated.
It was a couple of times. No, it was in the when Madeline Swan and Bond are arriving in their like retirement paradise place, blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, this is going to end in tragedy because it always does.
Did you think they were
because
gonna
that's the
kill
same
him?
music from On Her Majesty's Secret
Oh,
Service?
okay. Surface.
Yes,
Did you think they were going to kill him?
Bond.
I wasn't even
No.
sure up until
No.
they like
Yeah, I
completely. And you know what I also liked about the very, very end?
Yes.
All the people at MI6 are sitting around and they're like, they had a drink to him and they're just like,
back to
get
work.
on with it.
Yeah. That's
Good
why I
stuff.
think they're going to do a.
Yeah.
I think they're like people. I kind of feel like they're going to go. Well, we have to modernize it eventually, and people get so mad whenever we cast a Bond.
Yeah.
Maybe we just stop casting Bond.
Maybe it'll be like a Jason Bourne, Jeremy Renner situation.
yeah, exactly,
Where they'll
yeah.
make one and people go, boo,
Yeah.
where's James Blonde?
That's exactly
We want
right,
James
yeah.
Blonde.
Yeah,
and then they'll have to either try and convince Craig to come back, which he will not do, or then they'll hard reboot. Yeah.
I kind of thought, I kind of thought they would have done like a. But here's the thing also, because he has retired so many times and he has cheated death in that way of like he gets shot and he falls off a bridge and then he's survived somewhere else. I guess they really painted themselves in the corner in the sense that they couldn't have just done that.
Yeah.
I think if they hadn't done that so many times previously, they could have blown up the island. We didn't see it. Maybe it looked like he died, and then we do a cutaway at the end and he's
hanging from a helicopter.
He's hanging from a helicopter, or he's, nodding to Michael Caine or whatever and just being like, Mum, here I am in a cafe and I've retired or whatever. But they couldn't because they've done it so many times. They're like, well, the only logical step is to turn him to ash.
Yep. Anyway, it's good.
Yes.
And I hope Broden Kelly enjoyed it.
He said he did.
Excellent.
Okay, great.
Should we move on then?
Yeah, let's do that.
Then what do you want to do?
Let's talk about what we're reading.
Yeah.
And what we're going to read.
All right, that's a great idea. Let's really sink our teeth into this.
Okay. Nom, nom, nom.
Yum.
Like we're Bond, and the segment is M. Hum, hum, hum. Hum, nom, 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 nom.
Westworld.
Nom, 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 nom.
What are you Westworlding this week,
I
Mason?
read the first issue of DC's The Human Target.
Oh, it's back, is it?
Written by Tom King.
It's
and
back.
Illustrated by Greg Smallwood. Yes, it is. The Christopher Chance, The Human Target, is probably one of my favorite sort of
Take a
less...
chance, take a chance, take a
Thank
chance,
you.
take a chance.
That's
take
right.
a chance.
He's aberring it yet again. He's one of my favorite sort of mostly forgotten DC characters who I enjoy.
Okay, cool.
Well,
and he had that show, sort of.
He had 2 shows. He had 3. So, for people who don't know, which isn't you, James, he's a very specialized bodyguard. He's a master of disguise, and he becomes the person he's been paid to protect.
Yes, like the Pretender.
No, James. And then when the bad guys show up and they're like, we're going to get this regular man. He's like, I'm not a regular man.
I'm the human target. You can shoot me as many times as you want. I'm a target.
No, you can't. He's just regular. He sort of existed sometimes he exists in the regular DC universe and sometimes he doesn't. I think it's because in the regular DC universe, there's people that can turn into somebody like down to their DNA. And so it seems kind of less impressive. So
Like Martian Manhunter could do it or whatever. Can't
Well,
he?
exactly.
He's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
doing it. And he was in that movie Justice League.
Oh yeah, that's true. But yeah, he did there was a series by Peter Milligan and Edvin Bukovic.
Oh,
The
yes.
late Edvin Bukovic. This was in like 1999. It's really good.
Yeah.
And it's sort of it's a Vertigo series, so it's not set. It's just like a sort of
At
regular
a place called Vertigo.
Thank you. Yeah. That's really good. And then Peter Milligan did another miniseries and then like a ongoing series in Vertigo. But he's back in the DC universe regular. I was going to say, so on TV, he was Rick Springfield of Jesse's Girls.
He was
fame
too, wasn't he?
in the 90s, I think. And then he had a series that sort of abandoned the premise.
Yeah.
It was Mark Valley as the Human Target and also had Jackie Earle Haley in it, where he was just a guy who was a bodyguard, basically. His first season was good, second season was awful. And then he's also been in Arrow. It was
Is
the
that
guy.
same guy or a different guy?
No, it was the guy who played Nuke in
in
Jessica Jones.
Okay.
He
Well,
was he was the Human Target in
Human
Arrow,
Target.
and they brought the gimmick back, like he was a master of disguise again.
Sick.
But anyway, issue 1 of this, back in the DC universe. So the premise of this, and I think it's probably going to be a 12-issue series because it's Tom King and he's always doing those. But he's back in the DC universe and he's hit hard times and he's doubling for Lex Luthor.
Right.
A man he would never double for, before because he's terrible. And he survives 2 assassination attempts at the same time. And he comes to realize that one of them was somebody attempting to kill Lex Luthor, but one was trying to kill him. So he has to figure out who it is.
Okay, yeah.
And he's going to bump up against various people in the DC universe. I think it's set in the 90s.
Sounds fun.
It's set in a sort of a vague time. But you can, by the appearances of the characters, you can sort of place it in the 90s. But it's real good. I like the character. I'm a big fan.
Were they listening to Third Eye Blind? Is that how you knew?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I watched a little documentary on a little streaming platform called Disney Plus.
Go on.
Called Under the Helmet, The Legacy of Boba Fett.
Oh.
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett. It's like a 22-minute documentary, and it talks about all the people who have been the character and where he just came from and the design.
Ooh.
And how originally he was supposed to be a bunch of like, it was supposed to be like a super stormtrooper, and then they're like, this is going to be expensive. We're just going to make one and whatever.
Yeah.
And had that, they talk a little bit about how he's come back in The Mandalorian and how he's, and the bit about Jango Fett. And it was just a fun little kind of like, here's a little thing.
Sounds fun.
And they use some footage and imagery and stuff you haven't seen before from like the Star Wars archives, which I always enjoy.
Yeah, right.
And they're just like, you've never seen this behind the scenes footage before. And I'm like, it's true. I haven't seen that. And that was what I watched.
How much Ralph McQuarrie like art do you think is left? How much?
Like stuff that they haven't used?
Yes.
None.
Okay,
They used
good.
every single scratching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
of
go.
it. And that's fine, I say.
I think it's fine
Should we go
also.
to the next segment of the
Let's
show?
do letters.
Oh, I was going to use my headphones. I don't need it for this.
Okay,
do I?
let me think. Did I watch anything else recently?
We watched some Iron Man for Caravan of Garbage.
Sure did, the
some
Iron Man.
animated Iron Man.
Yeah, animated series. That was pretty something, wasn't it?
We loved it.
No, I didn't love it.
We didn't
Thought
like
it.
it.
Was bad.
Oh, I got a new dog
It's true. I gave
Called-
your dog a pat.
called Zippy. It's on Claire's
After Zippy the Pinhead?
That's right. It's on Claire's Instagram if you want to check it out. If you want to check out the Instagram. Good stuff.
Smaller than you'd think. Tiny
yeah,
little
it's
dog.
tiny. It's tiny. I like it. It's good fun.
Tried to
dog.
eat my beard. I'm going to get that dog. All right, let's do some letters. Wait.
You said you were going to do
I
it.
know it did.
You
Put the
promised.
volume up.
You told me.
It's time for letters. The classic one was
Letters, oh letters, we love you. Some letters, they're only a take away.
You know they're here right now. We're going to do letters.
You want to reach the show? You want to reach the show, do you? You think you're better than me? Hashtag Weekly Planet Pod on Twitter
You got a door, you got a gym.
or weeklyplanetpod at gmail.com.
You think you're better than James? Email in.
Yeah.
Like all these people.
What?
Normally, I wouldn't go through the hundreds of emails every week of people that think they're better than James. But
What
this week, I reckon
about
I
you
will.
makes you better than me?
That's
Be
right.
specific.
Yes.
I'm not saying you're not better than me. You probably are, but you need to prove it. All right.
This is from Arend.
Hello.
He says, Dear James and Mesa, I was just listening to you talk about MODOK appearing in multiple MCU properties, and a question came to mind. After a few successful bad guy movies like Maleficent and Joker, do you think Marvel Studios will one day make a bad guy solo movie? Which Marvel villain do you think would be a good pick?
Doom.
Yeah, I was going to say Doom. Doom's good.
Anyone else?
Would you have to...
Trevor Slattery.
Yes. Would you have to establish Doom in a...
No, you can just do it.
You think you'd just do Doom?
Yeah.
Do you think Doom has the...
No sympathy either. Just a bad man.
Yeah, do you think Doom has the name recognition of, say, a Joker, though?
No. But, Iron Man was an Iron Man.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Now he's Iron Man.
I guess if you introduced... I wonder maybe they could introduce him as... Like, you give him the... It's like Killmonger. He's a very compelling backstory and what have you.
Yeah.
And then you bring that dude in.
That Book of Doom or whatever.
Book of Doom, sure.
do that.
Yeah.
And, you can bring in
Yeah.
Fantastic Four.
He says, I think this could maybe solve some of the difficulty the MCU has with creating memorable villains.
Yes.
Could be interesting to see the Avengers fill a more antagonistic role in the story.
Yeah. I like that a lot. I think they should do it, and hopefully they will. Anyone else? Let me think.
Could we do it with any existing characters?
Killmonger. You could definitely do it.
Yeah, you could do it with Killmonger.
Who else is there? Who else haven't they obliterated? Guy Pearce is the Mandarin.
Guy Pearce is the Mandarin. When did he get those tattoos? Was it pre-extremis or post-extremis?
Pre. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
What about like a Thanos?
Oh, it could be.
What about Thanos?
Well, I mean,
why
we've-
didn't you stop Thanos?
Well, I mean, we've seen the origin of Thanos, basically, right?
Yeah, sort of. I think we're going to see more of that anyway in upcoming stuff.
Yeah, I don't think I want to see a character whose arc is finished. Like, I don't want to.
Oh,
I don't
okay,
want to
yeah.
see.
You know,
I guess,
what the prequel to somebody who's
yeah,
done.
because the thing about like a Maleficent or a 101 Dalmatians lady is that it's the idea of it is sort of to like build sympathy for a character that was prior to that was sort of one dimensional and unlikable, and I don't want to see, because I know Thanos' arc is ended, and I don't want to be like, oh, he was a poor little boy, and everybody made fun of him for being his brother made fun of him for being purple or whatever, and
we can't do like
and
if you do like real Mandarin, we did that already. We're doing Loki, I guess, but he's not really on this point. Like, do you want Whiplash? Do you want like characters like Whiplash,
Grey Gargoyle,
but like upcoming
Hypnotia?
But if you did like
Blizzard,
if you did like
he was trapped in a fridge by some bullies.
That's a good one. If you did like Whiplash or say like Yellow Jacket.
Yes.
What if these guys were around before they had any superpowers? It's like, who cares?
Right.
But maybe like Caecilius might be an interesting one.
Okay.
But I think, again, that's in early days. Kurt Russell, Abomination.
The actor Kurt Russell, sure.
Yeah.
I reckon probably New would work better.
M'Baku, but he's not really a bad guy.
No, I reckon
he
New
is
would
in
be
the
better.
comics.
As soon as I saw the email, I'm like, Doom. So I think maybe that's the one. If you introduced him first,
yeah.
I think it'd be a fun reveal if you... This could never happen, but I think it'd be a fun reveal.
What about Hela?
Yeah,
Early days Asgard stuff.
And she's not... I mean, she is dead, but she's not... They could bring her back.
Time travels.
Yeah. I think it'd be an interesting... They couldn't really do it, but I think it'd be an interesting reveal if you did the origin of Doctor Doom from the perspective of Doctor Doom and not the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, totally.
And sort of painted as he's this unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
And he is doing all this science and magic to, help save his mother and all this sort of stuff.
Because she's in hell.
And you see Reed Richards as this arrogant guy who's trying to stop him. I think that would be interesting. And then you turn it around at the end and be like, and also he's a supervillain. I think that, but you can't really do that now, especially because people will be like, oh, it's Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
Obviously.
But I think, that's cool, like if you know that going in.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
if you don't know, then that's also cool for different
cool,
reasons.
yeah.
What about you could do a Silver Surfer Galactus situation, I guess. You could tie those two together.
Yeah.
But that would be more Silver Surfer-y.
And more of a buddy cop movie, wouldn't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
One of them's like having a kid and they got to race to the hospital.
Yeah.
And they're weaving out of traffic and you think they're going to solve a crime, but they're going to the hospital.
That's right.
That's what
Galacta.
Galacta.
No, he has a daughter.
Yes, no, I know.
Oh, you do know? Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Wait, who's he married to? I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean he's married.
That's true, yeah.
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 How does he
Afford the child support, I don't know.
because he's eating all the carrot seed.
That's right,
Yeah. Anyway, I got a tweet here.
Okay, please.
From My Watch Stuff. It says #Weekly Planet Pod. The remastered GTA trilogy dropping this week makes me wonder if we're going to see remasters of movies soon. George Lucas nearly ruined the idea, but I'm guessing modern movies have enough data to be improved by future re-renderings, hopefully avoiding rewrites. Well, it's interesting because on Disney Plus this week, they also opened up the aspect ratio for a bunch of MCU movies. So you can now watch them in like an IMAX format.
How does that work?
Just
Does it just look
taller.
like a box on your...
Taller, boxier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I need to get a bigger TV for that?
I don't know. Do you want a bigger TV?
Not really.
Then you don't have to.
Yeah.
Apparently the GTA trilogy remaster is also terrible. But no, I think they've always been doing this. Not always, but they're always tweaking stuff and and they're like, this is the whatever cut and whatever, Movies are very
Apocalypse
much in
Now,
flux.
and then it's the Redux or whatever.
Exactly. Apocalypse when? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's called Apocalypse When, James. Yes. It's the prequel.
Wow.
And everybody's walking around going Apocalypse When.
When's this happening? When's this going to kick off?
Yeah, right?
Soon, I hope. I'm bored.
It's so boring out here in the Vietnam War. It's boring. It's just boring. Surf's not up yet.
Yeah.
I want to do a surf. But there's no surf
No
currently.
surf's happening.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's I think they're doing it. But I think but you're right, I guess in terms of they have everything.
Have you seen any footage from that GTA remaster?
Yeah, it looks like
looks
total
wild.
shit. It's not it, like the redesign I'm not a huge fan of. But I could see how you'd go like, oh yeah, they've got a particular artistic kind of flair they're going for. But everything else about it is just broken.
Yeah.
I was thinking about maybe getting it, but I'm definitely not getting it now. You can't I love a re-release. I'm a huge fan. They're doing a Prince of Persia remake of the 2003 game, which is one of my favorite games of all time. And they're redoing the whole thing and they've kept pushing it back. And I'm like, wonder if this is going to be any good. Probably not. But I love the idea of playing a classic game updated.
Yes.
They did it with all the Resident Evil 2 and 3, and they're probably doing 4, and it's cool. It's good. They're probably doing Metal Gear Solid, the original one.
Oh yeah, maybe.
So
I would like to replay it.
Yeah. But just dumping a broken version and doing slightly updated.
I wonder if they would do because Kojima is not involved with
No.
Konami anymore. I wonder if maybe
The rumor is they are.
Oh, they are. Okay, right.
Rumor is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah.
Because it would be nice to play that original one with updated graphics that are good.
I agree. Or you could just play the
They were good
original.
at the time. I remember being like, wow.
I think they still hold up for the
Yeah.
most part, don't they?
First one, maybe not so much.
There you go. Here's a question from Marcel on Twitter.
Go on.
Weekly Planet Pod. The only Marvel Studios news I want from Disney Plus Day is to hear that Sam Rockwell is back for the upcoming Armor Wars as Justin Hammer. Totally.
Would love it, yeah.
Please. Speaking of get his own movie, maybe.
Oh, Justin Hammer movie.
Yeah.
Why is
Or
he so
show.
terrible?
Yeah.
It would be just maybe, yeah. It's a shame he's incompetent, that guy.
They can fix that.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe just a series of comical scrapes that he gets into. I think
That's
that would be
fine
fun,
too.
yeah.
Just to see a bit of Sam Rockwell out there.
Just another Sam Rockwell movie. Just give us more Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell. What are you up to now? Give us.
Oh, it's like The World According to Jeff Goldblum, but it's called Sam Rockwell. What are you up to now? And it just...
I'm not doing anything.
Yeah. You just see this shaky cam run up to him. He's at an ice cream van. He's getting an ice cream. I'm just getting an ice cream.
Sam Rockwell.
You do this every day. Stop it. This is from Marlon.
Yep.
He says, have you ever or would you ever read a movie script without watching the actual movie?
The only script I can think that I've read is that Harry Potter Cursed Child script, which is not a movie script, it's a play script.
Did you watch that before? Did you read that before you watched the movie?
Before.
Oh, because it was out.
It was out years before.
Was the idea that it was theoretical, like it was a theoretical?
No, they were making it. But
they released the script in advance.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would like to read the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood script.
Oh, yeah.
But again, I have seen that movie, so...
I think I have. I've read some things. I don't know. I've read some like comic scripts.
Yeah, and we've definitely read some cancelled. We've read plenty of cancelled comic book movie snippets. Yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
Don't have any specifics right here.
Me neither.
But I think it would also depend on the author. Or the screenwriter, because I know some scripts are like fun in and of themselves, like the scene descriptions are funny or like
I couldn't put it down
exactly, and whereas some scripts are just very basic of like
I had to put it down.
Interior, hotel, foyer, a man enters or whatever, but some like they fill it with a lot of color to entertain the actors and give them a sense of time and
inside of a hotel,
inside a hotel,
daytime decor. Drab. In came a man.
He's drab. That's you. That's the actor playing this. He's drab and he's ugly. He's got a stupid face. It's Sam Rockwell. What? No.
I wouldn't put that down. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, that's right. He looks dumb, like an idiot. Probably can't even read a script to save his life, this stupid man.
It's amazing he hasn't fallen over anything. He's so clumsy and stupid.
He sucks, this guy.
He's choking on an almond. Where did he even get it?
There's no almonds here. It's not a bowl of almonds anywhere. Did he get it out of his shoe? Did he fish an almond out of his shoe? Who is this? Gross.
This is you. Just to emphasize.
This guy's gross and he's dead. Anyway.
You got another letter?
No, that's all the letters.
I got a tweet here from Aidan Westhead who says, #WeeklyPlanetPod. Will you guys be covering Amazon Prime's new series, The Wheel of Time, at all? It's a great series based on author Robert Jordan's books, and I feel you would both enjoy it. Excuse the pun, not my wheelhouse. But I think
I don't have the time for it.
What's it about?
I'm busy stalking Michael Jordan. I can't remember. What it's about. But it's sort of it's Game of Thrones pre-Game of Thrones. It's a huge sweeping fantasy epic.
Is it?
I believe Robert Jordan passed away before he finished it. I think.
Wheel of Time is a high.
Or I've said that in the past, and people have emailed it and said no, he actually did finish it.
Co-author of the first 3 novels planned plus 6-book series. Wheel of Time spanned 14 volumes. Blah blah blah. So yeah, it went from 1990 to 2013. So it's not about time travel and stuff.
No, I think
there's also a role-playing game.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Say your impression of me?
Yeah.
It's good. That was really good.
Thank you. Yeah. That was also the dialogue from that script. Yes. An almond I found in my shoe. Oh, wait.
Time for a little nibble.
I think it's an apricot pip. I'm still going to eat it. I'm an idiot.
Stupid Sam Rockwell. He's all right, that guy. I think he's clever.
I still haven't watched fucking Foundation. So
yeah, neither have I.
Watched that.
We talked it up a lot, didn't we?
I was looking forward to that for 100 years.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'll get to it.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch that Tom Hanks built a robot movie, I think.
I looked at my TV and I went, how do I get Apple TV on this? I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
You
shout at your TV.
Oh, it turns out you can add on Amazon Prime, you can add other channels to it, like other services.
Like Paramount Plus.
Like Shudder and Paramount Plus and all that sort of stuff. So I'll probably add some channels in the next couple of weeks.
You should do it. Are they free?
No. It's like the same price as just getting them normally, but it's one less app. So,
but it's also you got to go through an app to get to it.
Yeah, nice.
And that is big business.
That is big
Mason,
business.
Is that
baby.
the show?
That's the whole show, folks. Thank you so much for listening.
Wow.
Did you have any thoughts about No Time to Die or other things that we've said?
Are you Broden Kelly?
Are you?
Do you have any thoughts about it?
He's given me all his thoughts already.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did he say?
God.
Didn't want to get spoiled. He was kind enough not to.
No, I'm not gonna I'm not going to break the sanctity of the DMs.
Okay.
Yeah, so
All right.
what do you reckon about that? But he's choking on an almond. He has said that. That's the last thing he sent to me, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's up to now.
Joey's fine.
Yeah. Folks, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for telling a friend to get them to listen. Thank you for lying to a friend to get them to listen. Thank you for leaving a 5-star review on any app you choose. Helps people find it.
Because you can do it in app, can't
And then
you?
it'll be like, have you thought about listening to this podcast? And people go, maybe I will.
And maybe you do.
Yeah. You stupid man, they say.
This is from Decomposition Brad, who says, Avengers, 5 stars. Makes me want to be a pig rolling down a hill.
That's good.
Thank you. This is from Murdamza, who says, 2 cool dudes with attitudes. An awesome pod with 2 awesome chaps. Just letting the fellas know that they're very much appreciated all the way over here in Roswell, New Mexico.
Oh, that's the home of conspiracies.
Agreed. They're much, well, that's everywhere now, isn't it, really?
That's true.
They're much better than my podcast, which is called the GoFo podcast, GOFO podcast, and also much more successful. Love the show and keep up the great work. Also, can I be the official Roswell, New Mexico ambassador of the show? Also, Meso, what do you think the story was?
It's about a guy in Mexico.
I think
New
you're
Mexico.
right. Anyway,
It's in America.
Snuck in a sneaky plug for the GoFo podcast. So
Wow.
maybe if you want to sneak in a sneaky plug for a
Oh,
local
okay,
business
yeah,
or
all right, yeah.
personal venture, maybe
Or a personal vendetta.
maybe you're caught in a pyramid scheme and you need to kind of branch out a bit.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, this is
Maybe
how
you're
to,
selling a product that isn't
That's
really a
right.
product. It's just a link to a JPEG or something.
That's right.
You know, put that in there.
Put it in there.
Put it in your thing there.
I love it.
Me too. Folks, if you want to get into contact with us, you can go to weeklyplanetpod at Gmail, at Facebook, at Twitter, at Bandcamp. You can go to the Planet Broadcasting Great Mates Facebook group on
Yeah.
Facebook, or there's also a there's also a Weekly Planet pod subreddit and a Discord. You can check out those fun civil times, having a good time talking about podcasts and pop culture. We're having a great time.
How many fun memories do you think people are making there?
Tens of thousands a
Wow,
day.
that's powerful stuff.
It's very powerful. Wikipedia Brown on Twitter, on Instagram, and Nick Maso and RCKMASEAU. James is Mr. Sunday Movies everywhere. You can also follow our friend Rob Collins. He's at Rob Collins on Twitter. He's at The Weekly Planet on Twitter. If you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/Mr. Sunday Movies. You can chuck in a buck or any amount you wouldn't miss.
That's right.
That's our recommended amount.
Yeah,
Any amount
definitely.
you wouldn't miss.
Exactly.
25 cents? A quarter?
Don't mind me just poking around the internet looking for more news.
Do you
Mason.
wish Australia had quarters?
No.
Okay.
Less silver coins in general. Get
Okay.
rid of them. The gum. I don't even carry a wallet so much anymore. I slip a credit card into my phone case and I walk around like that.
Wow.
Just like this. Look at me
Okay.
go.
So if you see James, he's got his phone out.
Yep.
Just swipe that phone, you get everything.
That's right. Everything you'll ever need.
All in one go. Very convenient.
Yeah. I won't like it, just to clarify.
Yeah, you'll hate it.
Don't-
And who are you going to call? The cops? You don't have a phone,
Oh my God.
right?
I could shout to the cops. There'd have to be one near.
That's true.
Fuck. Don't do that, please.
Folks, you can also go to bigsandwich.co for $9 per month. Bonus podcast, movie commentaries,
Yep.
early stuff.
Yep.
We're loving it. It's
Yep.
great stuff over there. What are we doing this week on Big Sandwich?
Great question. I
Is
think
it a
we're,
year?
we're doing the year
we're doing-
1973.
Specifically, we have a podcast called James and
71.
Meso's Time Capsule, where every episode we pick a year in pop culture, seemingly at random.
It's a depressing year, but there's some interesting stuff in there.
I agree,
I
yeah.
like doing that. We're recording
Yeah.
that one. So yeah.
And
And
if we-
next week's going to be a movie commentary, and we probably will do a Spider-Man one.
Nice.
I'm guessing.
Ooh.
I don't know yet. We'll have to think about it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Folks, thank you to the Brute and the Basilisk and Rackham for all our musical themes. We've got some T-shirts on tpublic.com. You just search for The Weekly Planet.
That's right.
And that is the whole thing. Next week, don't know yet.
Don't know. Snake Eyes.
The movie Snake. Oh, yes. Everybody in preparation for next week, watch the movie Snake Eyes. If you've watched it before on a recommendation,
You've probably forgotten a lot of it.
probably watch it again, I
Yeah,
reckon.
yeah.
Watch Snake Eyes. Get it fresh in your mind. And
Yeah.
next week, we'll talk about Snake Eyes.
Order it off Amazon.com.
The big bumper Snake Eyes episode.
Dust off. You wouldn't even need to dust it off because you've probably just...
Dust off your katana.
I was going to say, you got this.
Swing it around your place.
No. If you've got a katana, you don't need to dust it off because you've been practicing the blade.
You've been practicing your cutters.
Same with your
Holy-
your HD DVD of Snake Eyes.
That's
which
right.
wouldn't get a single speck of dust on it because you are so often
Spinning it every day.
and
Oh, my God.
putting it in and out of your DVD
Well,
player.
this next episode is for you. We're going to talk about Snake Eyes. You better believe it. All the stuff that happens in Snake Eyes. Motorcycle sword fights? Probably. I don't know.
Where's he get his Snake Eyes? We'll tell you.
Yeah.
You've already seen it.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
So anyway. All right, thanks for listening.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week.
And goodbye.
Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes. But Snake Eyes next week.
Yeah, that's right.
This podcast is part of
James,
the
this is
Planet
for people
Broadcasting
who stick
Network.
around the whole
sorry,
time.
I didn't mute you during this part.
Okay, that's cool.
But what were you saying?
I was going to say, don't, for people who listen this far,
Yeah.
we're not actually going to do Snake Eyes.
We're never going to talk about Snake Eyes.
Everybody switched off has already watched Snake Eyes.
They've already in anticipation.
They've already watched Snake Eyes and we
They're
tricked
ready.
them. But that's because we don't love them as much as we love you.
That's
the
right.
People who were all the way at the end.
The true fans.
The true fans know we're never going to do Snake Eyes ever. No matter how many times we promote, are we going to do Snake Eyes? Because I've heard it's not very good.
And they're never going to make another G.I. Joe movie, so we don't even have to watch it for anything in preparation.
That's right, because we did
of
all.
a single
We
thing.
already did the other G.I. Joe
the other
movies.
ones, you know?
It's a shame because I like Henry Golding. I think he's very charming.
I
but-
agree. He'd make a better Bond than he would a Snake Eyes, probably. I've never seen the movie Snake Eyes, and I never will. But next week, we actually are watching Snake Eyes.
Yeah, we're going to watch Snake Eyes, actually, guys. There's a little tip for you, the true fans. We actually are going to watch Snake Eyes.
If you switched off thinking that we weren't watching Snake Eyes, congratulations.
Big bumper Snake Eyes episode next week. Okay, bye, everyone.
This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbroadcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates.
I mean, if you want. It's up to you.